Hi, my name is Maria, and you're listening to the podcast where we deconstruct someone's PhD experience so that you can reconstruct your own. This is a journey with many challenges, but you might find yourself in a similar situation as one of the guests here. Enjoy listening. Hello, ninjas. As promised, I'm going to make this episode about what it means to be a PhD ninja. And first of all, why ninja? Where does this come from? I want to honor my favorite professor from the University of Belgrade at the Department of Electrical Engineering. She is the one who coined the term. It's because the direction that I chose to study was technical physics. Let's call it like that, so applied physics, but it was still in the Department of Electrical Engineering. At the Department of Electrical Engineering, people considered us physicists, whereas people from physics department considered us engineers. So we were a bit the black sheep in here. But nevertheless, we chose this because we really enjoyed it. We liked it. It was some exotic topics. And at that time, I chose the direction nanoelectronics and laser physics. So this was how many years ago? 15? Almost 15 years ago. At that time, it was coming up. It was interesting. For Serbia, where I studied, it was still a science fiction. So I did choose it knowing that, I'm not going to be able to find a job in Serbia. But nevertheless, it was so exciting. The professors were so motivated. They really were bringing the hottest topics from the world to us so that we can practice on real examples that, the biggest companies were using in their actual products. And so this professor once said that we are like ninjas, because once you finish studying this applied physics domain of photonics, of nanoelectronics and laser physics, then afterwards you can do almost whatever you want. So you can easily do programming if you wish. You can easily do telecommunication if you wish. You can easily do electronics. Let's say the playfield was very vast. Whereas in the other way around, if the specialization was programming and then you want to do something on the physical level, so programming goes more in the abstract level, whereas we were really, really on the physical level of things, it becomes more difficult to get to the essence of things. So let's say to get to the root. Whereas if you're already in the root of things, going to more abstract levels, it is easier. That's why PhD ninja. Well, I added PhD. She was just saying we are ninjas, people who are studying there, probably, to motivate us and to not to quit. Well, it worked, but not because she called us ninjas, but because she was super motivated to bring us extremely exciting things that we were working on without any extra means. But even theoretically, what we were working on, it really was amazing. And I still admire those people who, in the conditions that are not, let's say, very wealthy in terms of labs and material things, they still are extremely motivated to work with people and to transfer this knowledge and to publish articles and to be in the board of the department and to do a gazillion different things in private life. So my respect is still there for them. And now let's look at you. You have chosen to do a PhD, or maybe have finished a PhD. You know what is the percentage of people who do this? You have chosen one of the things that nowadays people find it boring to spend years on one specific topic. The lifespan, go on social media and see how much time you spend looking at one video. And in the contrast, you have to spend, let's say, 4 years. I'm taking this as an average. 4 years working on one single topic. 4 years. This is a hell of a lot of time. So a lot of people who, after their masters, they go to the industry They also say, oh my God, like how can you spend 4 years working on one topic? I get bored, in the industry, topics change every 1 year more or less. So it's always exciting. There's something new, etc., etc. So maybe there are two different ways to look at things. Maybe in the industry, there are always new projects. So our brain is very much entertained when there is something new. Whereas during a PhD, there is something new, but there's something new in the depths of the same topic. It's not as if you are solving one single problem for 4 years. You are solving bits and pieces of a bigger problem. So you are finding something that nobody has ever gone in that direction, and then you start scratching the surface, and then below the surface you find another 5 problems, and then you try solving some of those that seem interesting, that are going to give up an opening to something else. So by going deeper and deeper, you are going in the depth of a problem, but essentially it always brings up another tiny problem. So it depends how you look at it. The sole fact that you can focus on one single topic for 4 years already makes you, makes your attention span extremely, extremely interesting, because you are the person who can sit in a dark room probably and focus their attention on something that you have no idea that is going to bring you results. But still you find it fascinating. First of all, congratulate yourself, because this is a trait that needs to be nourished, that needs to be developed. And you are very, very long on that way. And again, what does it mean? So when I say PhD ninja, it means that you have superpowers. You can do really a lot of things. So in these 4 years, you are going to learn how to manage a project, because not most likely, but you are the person who is the most interested in your project. Everybody else is there just to tag along on the journey, but ultimately you are the most responsible. So you're going to learn bits and pieces of project management. You are going to learn how to write, because you will have to publish articles in conferences, in journals. You will have to be exposed to presenting in front of a large audience. So you will travel to conferences, you will present in front of different people, new people. You will have to defend your ideas and discuss them, and maybe figure out something new, and maybe start a new collaboration. You will have to navigate with your peers. How are you dealing with the lab? If you do have lab work, or if you're sharing some resources, if you're doing some work together, you will need to learn how to communicate with other people. So there are so many things that you are already covering just by doing a PhD. And well, it's not just by doing a PhD, but first of all, congratulate yourself that you have decided to go down this route, which is not so common. You might think that it's common because people who are around you, they are most probably all academics, and most probably majority of them is doing a PhD. But if you put yourself outside your environment, if you go to, I don't know, a cafe in your city where you normally don't go, then you would meet people who come from different backgrounds, different interests. And then you will see that what you have to bring on the table is different from what other people bring to the table. It's not good or bad. It just means that you have a big vocabulary of things that you are bringing there. The fact that you are surrounded by people who are all doing the same thing, and it seems like the whole world is doing a PhD, this is absolutely not the case, but absolutely. I don't have a percentage in mind how many people are doing a PhD, but this is really, like, if you look on a population level, what is the percentage? Like, really, really tiny fraction of population is doing this, and you are in this fraction because you find this exciting, because you like it, because, I don't know, you have your own reasons why you wanted to be there. But since you are on this journey is offering you so many opportunities, and there are going to be struggles, of course, like in any other case. If we would take A dancer, for example, or somebody who wants to propel in a theater, that person is going to have another set of problems. So whatever profession you take, and here I'm really referring to a PhD as a profession because in the Netherlands, it is considered as you are an employee. In other countries, you are still a student, but you have so much responsibility that for me, it's not a student life anymore. You are an employee, you're responsible for this project, you're responsible for whatever happens there. And of course, this setting is going to bring struggles, etc., but it's also offering so many opportunities. So if I would look and try to compare some of the characteristics that ninjas have and some of the characteristics of a PhD, so if we would coin a term PhD ninja, what would be the characteristics there? Some of the things that I would associate to it would be to be calm, to be sharp or agile, to be prepared, to be fierce, to be unorthodox, and to be mindful. In contrast to that, so if you're not calm, then you would be anxious. If you're not sharp, then you would be sluggish. If you're not prepared, you would be unprepared. If you're not fierce, you would be indifferent. If you are not unorthodox, then you are conventional. If you're not mindful, you will be ignorant. So these are some of the things that are not easy, but also becoming a ninja is not easy. It does take a lot of practice. And as my coach would say, practice makes perfect. Now, if we would look a bit deeper into what does it mean to be calm? Why do you need to be calm during your PhD? First, when you are interacting with people, if you are calm, and I would connect mindful to that as well. If you're calm and mindful, then you are able to see possibilities that otherwise you would not. So when we are really in peace with ourselves, then we are not agitated, we are not anxious, we are there and we can see some of the things that otherwise we would not be able to see. So imagine you go to speak to your supervisor and you are very agitated, you are anxious. So when we are in this state, then we are focusing on what is wrong and what is irritating us. And then you enter the office, and in this state, you can only be focused on what it is that you want to convey as a message. What is it that is bothering you? And if this professor is taken aback or is maybe having tears in their eyes or there is something happening on their side, you would not be able to realize it most probably or acknowledge it. Whereas if you come calm, so you still know what is it that you are irritated about, what's bothering you, what you want to discuss. If you are calm and mindful, you can also notice what is going on the other side. So you can also notice that this person is maybe uncomfortable when you bring this up, and you can address it. And there's going to be another level of depth to your conversation and to your relationship. So this brings me to being an active listener, noticing what is going on with you so that you can notice what is going on with the others. And this is a characteristic of a ninja. Imagine a ninja who is very agitated and anxious. And this person is supposed to be very sneaky and go in places unnoticed. And if this person is not calm and mindful, this is never going to happen. So think of yourself as a ninja next time when you are entering your professor's office. That being said, don't scare people off, please. I mean, don't, sneak behind their back and stuff like that. Now, if we're talking about being sharp, being agile, being prepared, I'm connecting again these two. If you are sharp, again, this comes from being calm and mindful. So being sharp, it means that you are also prepared to act in that moment. If there is something that's coming up and it's the professor says, somebody needs to do this. Do you want to do it? And you have absolutely no time to do it. If you are unprepared, then you're going to be frozen, like, is it me? What am I supposed to say, etc. If you are prepared, you are calm, you're mindful, you know what you can do, what you cannot do, you can state your boundaries and say, yes, absolutely, I can do this if I drop something else. So what is it that is more important for you, meaning for your professor? This also means that you are not afraid to get into conflict or to voice what is it that is on your plate, what is bothering you, what is the status. This means being sharp, like acting on the moment, being prepared, and being fierce. Being fierce, yeah. Not afraid to stand up for yourself because you know what you are standing up for. And coming back to being sharp, it's also that you do not fear acting upon a situation. It also means, well, here I'm touching on the perfectionism part. Sometimes we are stuck in this, oh, it has to be perfect. I know how a perfect research paper looks like, so I have to do it either like that or I'm not doing it at all. Yeah, the fact is we never do things first time, right? And if we do, we don't learn much, most probably. Every person around you that you see that has a lot of experience, it seems like everything comes easy. It's because there is a ton of experience behind, which we are not seeing. We're just seeing that moment, that person, that result, but we do not see the journey that they have gone through. So for example, when it comes to postponing things and procrastinating, I really love this phrase saying, no thought lives rent-free in our head. No thought lives rent-free in our head. So if you have a research paper to write, your thought is like, oh, I should write that paper. Then there's another thought saying, oh, but I need to spend at least 3 days on it. I don't have it now, so I'm not going to do it. If we would replace that thought, I need 3 days to actually do it, and then I'm going to do it, etc., etc. If we say, if I would write introduction today, where would I be tomorrow? So break it into parts which serve you. If we have this thought, it's going to take me 3 days, so I'm not going to do it. Then tomorrow it's the same thought. And the day after tomorrow is the same thought, and you still don't have 3 days. And in 1 month from now, you still do not have 3 days in front of you, and you still have the same thought. So you are paying rent to this thought. If you would replace it with something else, what would it be? Where would you be? Now, a ninja also needs to be unorthodox. A PhD ninja needs to be unorthodox. The ways how you are going about things, they're not conventional. They are unorthodox. You are looking at innovation to routine problems. You are thinking, what have I not tried yet? Or what have people not tried yet? And this is also another thought that can help you if you're like, oh, I have tried everything and nothing works. Again, this is a thought that we're paying rent to in our mind. If we are focused on that, I've done everything, then our brain is going to shut down and say, yeah, you've tried everything. Let's not delve into it any longer. But if you absolutely need to find the solution to this problem, you can also say, okay, what have I not tried yet? What is it that I didn't think of? So if you ask this kind of open-ended question to your brain, then your brain is going to start thinking, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that, like maybe I could talk to that person, maybe. Then opportunities start opening. Doesn't mean that you are going to come with a brilliant solution. This is not what we're talking about here. We're only talking about opening up a set of possibilities. So you can ask yourself, what have I not tried? What can I do now? And then you list, 15, 20 different solutions that can maybe seem random, weird, like they're not bringing you anywhere. But then out of those 15, 20, you might filter out 2 or 3 that are going to bring you somewhere. And again, none of this comes without practice. Practice makes perfect. I do not like very much this expression, practice makes perfect, because there is no such thing as perfect, but practice makes a ninja. This is how you become a ninja, by practicing. Ninjas, they train for months just to master some specific skills like jumping or seeing in the dark or controlling the breath. These are things that you don't just wake up one day and like, oh, today I know how to do it. But there are levels and levels of depth to this, like there are levels and levels of depth to your research and to you being a PhD ninja. And PhD is a quest by itself. And then becoming a PhD ninja is another level of a quest. But you definitely have all the means to become one. You have already chosen this path that not so many people choose, even though it seems that everybody around you is getting a PhD. But you might be surprised to see what kinds of paths people have chosen. And you might be surprised to learn that there is a ninja hiding below you somewhere. And also another thing I would like you to be mindful and aware of this journey is really all these different things that you're acquiring during your PhD. It's not just research. It's not just publishing papers. It's not just, I've spent 4 years and it's like, other people in industry, they've done different things, etc. You've dedicated so much time to one topic, probably, something that people in the industry did not have the time to do. Because in the industry, you don't have time. You have to go faster, you have to move, otherwise you don't exist, in 2 years. And here you know that in 4 years, you can still focus on the same topic. So when you finish, please acknowledge everything that is behind you. When you are also looking for jobs, acknowledge all your skills and everything you are capable of. You might not be the master of everything, and we cannot go in depth of everything, but you have covered so many things on this journey. Please remember that and be aware of what does it mean for you to be a PhD ninja. So what did I miss? What other qualities are there to a PhD ninja? Thanks for listening to this podcast episode. If there was anything that you discovered or found remotely interesting, do share. I'm always curious to hear what is it that you resonated with. See you in the next episode.